Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, and this is Friday Night Tights on a Saturday. I decided to move it to Saturday for my pal Doomcock so he could celebrate his 17,000 subscribers. Hail Doomcock. I think he's pretty close to 18 now, so hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for waiting. I am very late, almost 40 minutes late on this one, but I had to cook Nerdrotic Jr. dinner. It was kind of a last-minute thing. We took a little trip to the comic shop, stayed there a little longer than I intended to, and spent a little more than I intended to. Hello, Mark C. Hello, Terminal Insanity, Rome Hater, the DJ D Show, Penn Farm Girl, Mary Ashmead, Destiny Captain, Neon Visual, Juan Suros, Tarka Jedi, Joseph, Mech 1164, Doug 34, Tina Beebe, what's up? Wanted to say hello before I have to go for the evening. I'll be listening in the background when I can. Thank you so much. We are excellent background noise here. So yes, I say we, me and my multiple personalities, and you in the chat. Moon Spot rocks. Bjorn is here. I almost thought that said Bjork. Nerdrotic, Mrs. Nerdrotic loves Bjork. Squids McCracken, random nerd of doom. Hey, Gary, do you believe in Bigfoot? Yes. Chris Blake, Robert Poole, Chad Nielsen, sorry. And we will get to the chat. So lots to talk about. I didn't have a lot of time to pull up articles, so I'll be doing that while I am live. There's a ton to talk about. It has been a crazy week. We had the Captain Marvel kerfuffle, Rotten Tomatoes losing all of its credibility in 24 hours. It's pretty insane. It's really insane, like how much interest in Rotten Tomatoes has just dropped immediately. They might have just killed themselves. Star Trek Discovery renewed for a season 3, and if a Star Trek show gets renewed in the forest and nobody hears it, does it actually make a sound? Because that went over underwhelmingly, didn't it? The only people who reacted were the people who didn't like the show. And we just reacted with laughter. So there's that. There's also the Orville. We need to talk about how this Orville 2-parter propelled it into something completely different, propelled it into greatness. I do not know why they haven't announced the season 3. I'm just assuming it's going to happen. And Fox and Disney would be ridiculous. Somebody brought up a very good point. How can one company own 2 networks that are on broadcast television? That is interesting. I don't know how that's even possible. And that is why I was totally against Disney buying Fox. I think it's a bad deal. I think it's just going to water down entertainment. And well, we have an example of Disney buying a couple things and they've gone to crap: ESPN and Marvel Comics. And well, that was the other big news of this week. My friend Brian Hibbs did a little state of comics address at the Comics Pro meeting, an organization he helped found, and I was one of the original members. I was not like a founder or on the board or anything, but I mean, I paid my dues and went to their meetings and had my say, and nobody listened. But that's okay. That's all right. That's fine. But here we are in the comic industry. We have a multi-billion dollar movie franchise called the MCU that is out there, and their source material is dying. And if it dies, that means the end of the MCU. I will explain that. And it looks like they're fighting for their survival. And what's led to this whole rumor is an article from Cosmic Book News that extrapolated something from Bleeding Cool, which was speculation that there is a panel at South by Southwest called basically, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing here. It's why Marvel Comics are important to what's going on right now. And it's run by Joe Quesada and CB Sabluski. And it looks like they are trying to justify Marvel's existence. At least that's what Bleeding Cool got out of it. I think it might be a little bit of a stretch, but there is no doubt that Marvel Comics is in trouble. It is not making money, and companies can have loss leaders for a little while, but there is no such thing as a permanent loss leader. Star Trek Discovery and Marvel Comics. So maybe they get reprieves for now, but 5 years down the road, are either of these things going to exist? No, flat out no. I never thought I would have said that. Now, what I mean exist in the way we knew them as a direct market for comic books going to comic stores. I don't think so now. I really don't. And that's what led to me not opening up a comic shop. Let's get to the chat here real quick. Boom, boom. All right. Mark C, thank you for the $5 super chat. The Orville was effing awesome. The music to Identity Part 1 was very Star Trek, the motion picture, and Part 2 was very BSG reboot. It was. The music from Star Trek, the motion picture, there was a lot of callbacks in that in Identity Part 1 and a little bit of Wrath of Khan. I caught that. And yes, it was very BSG at the end. The Orville arrived. I mean, it arrived for me a long time ago, but I think generally it arrived for everybody. Even the critics are loving this, and like, who cares what they say at this point? Thank you for the super chat, Mark C. Again, super chats are appreciated, but they are not necessary. Just hit Nerdrotic, and I'll try to get to as much chat as I possibly can. Great. Let's get started. Exactly. Let's get started. And again, we need to talk about scheduling. So Friday, obviously, I moved it for Doomcock, and next week it's going to be Saturday as well because it's Mrs. Nerdrotic's birthday, which happened to land on Captain Marvel Day, and her and I are going to see Peter Murphy next Friday night. So again, Friday Night Tights will be on Saturday night. Yes, I am a Bauhaus fan. I am Tones on Tail. I'm a Peter Murphy fan. So yeah, there you go. Gonna see Old Man Murphy. STD is the Forrest Gump of Star Trek. Stupid is as stupid does. Steve Klein, it certainly does. Oh yeah, and Spock is dyslexic. The vandalization of Spock. You will get a preview of my next Star Trek video, which is going to have to wait because I am not doing anything until I finish this Doctor Who video I've been working on for 4 days. It keeps getting interrupted. So it looks like it's going to be the Doctor Who video. Then I'm going to do the Orville breakdown and then the Star Trek video. Interest in Star Trek is completely down. I also want to talk about Bob Wayne, listen, Bob Wayne's a good man. If you don't know who Bob Wayne is, he used to be a retail representative for DC Comics. I've spoken to him a couple times, don't know him super well, but I mean, he knows Brian Hibbs and and all this comic book, the apocalypse that's basically in right now. Made a comment that I completely disagree with, and I will bring that to you later. And I have tangible proof that his comment is wrong, and it's about storytelling in comics, and basically how we need to continue this postmodern comic book storytelling, and I 100% disagree. Let's get to Jared Manarino. Did I get that right? They have already removed Not Want to See from Star Wars Episode 9. This is truly disturbing. It is. And oh, wait, Jared, when the audience score, that's next. I guarantee you, if they're going to move the indicator, what do you think the audience score? You just fired up the entire fan base. You want to talk about review bombing? There might actually be some review bombing now. And it's not like, Geeks and Gamers or myself are telling people to do this. You guys being Disney and Marvel, you're doing it all on your own because of your marketing. And I keep seeing, like, God dang it. Comicbook.com ran another article stating in so many words that the people criticizing Captain Marvel are against diversity. That's their argument that they're going to run with, and they're going to keep running with. We're criticizing her on her comments for more diversity. No, we are criticizing her for singling out white men. There are two different arguments. Okay, completely different arguments. And the media is continuing to run with a lie. And it's so funny that they tell us that we're running with a lie. No, we never said Brie hated white men. She's never said that. We've never said she said that. She has singled out white men. The perception is she seems to bring it up a lot. And Jodie Whittaker did the same thing too. She specifically, when you don't need to say white men. And what I would like to add on that is you also mean little white boys, young white boys, children. And you know, I think, you know, Bree is young. So maybe she's probably not told no a lot. I mean, you want to talk about privilege. Is there anything more privileged in this world than a pretty blonde woman? I would question that. And that is a quote from Mrs. Nerdrotic. So Bree probably doesn't think that when she says a white man, because it's just really easy to fling around right now these days, that how people might take it personally, even though maybe they shouldn't. But the thing is, we're not in your head, Bree, so maybe you should explain yourself better. And that's all we're saying. I heard there might have been some more spin on this today. I haven't been able to find it yet. And honestly, I'm past this. If she would have come out and apologized, I wouldn't even have cared, you know, and then Rotten Tomatoes. I think the way more disturbing thing is Rotten Tomatoes removing the indicator. And that's just another comment section removed. You know, Andre at Midnight's Edge brought up how IMDb, you know, removed its content comment section, and it's a shadow of its former self. You can't trust that website. You can't even trust it for casting, and it's really out of date now. And you know, as far as like websites are dying, and this is why. You know, you're not connecting with your fans anymore. It's about connecting with the fans. And now it's all out war on the fans. It's attacking the fans. It's getting old. The Ben Talks, $9.99. Kalon Primary has Isaac read Roots, and later in the same conversation tells him to change his name. Echoes of the famous Kunta Kinte Toby scene in Roots. Ah, yes. And marks Isaac's choice of identity. The Bentox, you are correct. And I missed that. That is so great. Okay. You want to talk about being able to mix in a message that nobody disagrees with, and still do it within the context of a story where it's good. It doesn't rip you out of it. And it's a good message. See, you know, we argue semantics so much. When I am arguing against Doctor Who, and I'll speak for myself in Star Trek, when I mean political, I mean bringing up like trendy political arguments, using political slogans. I am not against diversity, but they keep wanting to make that argument because they can't argue against the other. So they want to paint you as a racist or a misogynist, and they want to say that if you even, I'm not saying I agree with a certain side of the aisle, but if you allow them to exist, you are signing off on them, and that side is just blankly racist. And it's this narrative that keeps going and going. My God, I made a tweet on Doom Patrol today, and I did it too soon. I was really enjoying Doom Patrol, and then it stuck something in at the very end of the third episode that annoyed the shit out of me. And it didn't need to do it. I'll explain that later. But it's this constant barrage, and it's little stuff. It's like 1,000 paper cuts. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. But yeah, that was great. The Orville was fantastic this week, and I cannot wait to see it again. The response here was great, so we are going to give it number one priority until it's done, and hopefully we'll hear about a season 3 real soon. Meximan and Cheese, I love the Orville. Just one nitpick, and that's all fine. We are nerds. We nitpick. At the beginning of the series, they said the Orville was small to mid-size. Last episode, it was expecting to see larger ships. I was expecting to see larger ships. They do have a larger ship. The Admiral was in one. They might not have had as many, and they weren't able to recall the entire fleet. But I need to watch the battle scene again. But you're right. There was a lot of the mid-sized ships, but maybe there's just more of them. But that's cool though. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Jason Green, $5. I'd say for the vocal minority, we're sure stirring up quite the SJW Hornet's nest. By the way, Bree's phase looks like the bottom of Uncle E's toe thumb. I can't call him Uncle E because I'm older than him, but EVS's toe thumb, yes. We're not. When they remove stuff from websites, and then the Access Media does a victory lap, like, and they're still doing it. Yeah, we're getting to them. We're when actors of a show at certain critics of this TV show who have never added them, I'm talking about Twitter, added them on Twitter, acknowledged them on Twitter, with not a single actor or creative. I don't at CBS All Access. I hashtag, but I don't throw stuff in their face. But when they single me out to go, nah, 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 we are definitely getting under their skin. And I would call that a win, because, like I said, I don't think any of us factored into the decision of renewing Star Trek Discovery Season 3. I think it was 100%. They couldn't handle the black eye that it would give to their network. Plus, now that I was thinking about it today, I guarantee it gets 4 seasons. It gets 4 seasons because it will not be the shortest running Trek with a black female lead. And this is the corner you paint yourself in financially when you play these type of when you play identity politics. Now, because you have to cancel shows, things don't work sometimes, and this one's not going to work. So yeah, it might go 4 seasons, and they're just going to take it in the shorts, and it'll be a lost leader. I don't know if you could call it, Andre called it a lost leader. I don't know if it'd be a leader. It'll be a lost loser. A lost loser. That's what it is. The film, thank you, Jason Green. Mark C, $5. The film critic issue is just part of it. You have to cover the in-style video interview. I will. I absolutely will. That is going to be tomorrow. Man, I'm going to see if I can do a quartering and do a quadruple upload. Probably not, but I'll try. I really want to get to the Orville breakdown. That's kind of priority tomorrow. The Doctor Who video is like almost done. I actually could have put it out before this one. I decided to save it. Yeah, and I'll get back to the chat here just a second. Daryl, thank you, Mark C. You're awesome. I love looking at the thing too. Daryl Rayner, $4.99. Do you think SJW filmmaking will burn itself out eventually? Yeah, it will. It's already starting. It's just going to take a long time. Nothing happens overnight in Hollywood. It's going to take a couple years. I'm already seeing signs of them leaving that stuff out. I would love to say it's because of us, but I'd say largely it's the international audience that they're probably, to their surprise, they're finding is annoyed by that stuff. So it's going to take a couple years, but this is the Star Trek we're going to get. This is it. So, I mean, yeah. And this isn't even Star Trek. Yeah. Even people who really like the show probably could acknowledge that this is just a poor copy, and I'm going to put up with it because it's Star Trek. I'm not. I mean, I'll cover it on the show. If I didn't have a channel, I'd just dip out. I wouldn't care. Thank you, Daryl. Chris Blake, $6. Next 2 cups of Pete on me. Hey, thanks. Right on, Chris. I appreciate it. Wonder if the fans of STD show even know the significance of Talos Fort. They don't. And neither do the writers. And there's a lot of proof of that. There's a lot of evidence of that. But when they had to, I mean, they're so, it's almost like they write I think I explained it during the live stream. It feels like it's a show written by Les Moonvis's 14-year-old daughter or son, and then they have actual Star Trek writers put in notes on the script, but they're not really allowed to change the basic plot of the script. They can put in stuff when they need to, but yeah. So whatever that writer's room is, and it seems like it's been pretty much a constant since season 1, it's awful. If you want to, fundamentally, that is the problem with Star Trek Discovery. It is not anything else than the writing absolutely is god awful. Thank you, Chris. And I will have 2. I wish I had one right now. Astera, $10. Hail Neurotic. Damn, the last episode of the Orville. Looking back at the 7 episodes before the 2-parter, makes sense why those episodes were character driven. Absolutely. I was going to talk about that. They threw all the money at identity. Yes. But I'm glad. This is why sometimes you got to be patient. And this is why I sat through all of season 2 of Westworld and said, okay, maybe we'll get a good payoff. I'm not really liking the direction, but maybe we'll get a good payoff. And we didn't. But with Orville, we did. We had people dipping out on the season. We had people calling it a horrible Trek ripoff. And, well, should have sat through the whole season. That's all I'm going to say. It really works, and it really makes this the best season of Orville. It was all a build-up to this, and it looks like it's not over. It's far from over. They won a battle, and they escaped with their lives. The Kalons are coming back. That you aren't guaranteed to have a piece with the Krill. And yeah, I would have expected them to dial it down next episode, but when you have these shorter seasons, this is how you do it. You build up with semi-episodic television, and then you build up to this big thing, and then like, oh man, the last few episodes are going to be great. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Russell Frakes. I appreciate it. Any relation to Jonathan? Yeah. Sure you'd mention it, but Daxamite $4.99. Your comic book store looks so cool. The one I used to go to as a kid closed in 2011. 90s comics were the best. Sad state of the comic industry now. Daxam, it's horrible. It bums me out. I usually don't get bummed out for long periods of time, but this has been kind of a bummer. And I liked Brian Hibbs' plan. It is way too late. If anybody remembers my comic shop, 50 comic shops closing video that came out in February 2018, I had mentioned at the end what the comic industry needs to do to save itself. It's the same exact thing I said at the Comics Pro meeting. It's the same exact thing that I said at all the retail summits. And all I got was, kid, that's what did they call it? Pie in the sky, kid. Pie in the sky. And it's funny because like sometimes you're getting called kid by people I'm 5 years older than, but whatever. Yeah, and it remains true. You need to start making books returnable for a limited time. You need to start putting it on pulp. You need to put it on cheaper paper. You need to pay. The comics need to get back down to $2.25 at bare minimum. Do what Alterna is doing, and do it now, or you're dead. And stop with the filler crap, and find some editors that actually know what they're doing, instead of hiring a bunch of people who go out and gets milkshakes. How's that milkshake picture look now? How's that look now? We went out and got milkshakes. The house is on fire, but yummy milkshakes. Yay. Okay. Lifestyle brand, huh? How's your lifestyle brand doing, Sana Amanad? Doing real good, huh? Great job. Philamax, Australian $7.99. Love the Orville's latest episode. What it needs, a war. Nothing like a good fight. I wish Fox does a full 24 episode season. I would love that, Philamax. I think I agree with Doomcock that Fox has something they probably gave. I'm guessing on this. Seth MacFarlane said, "Hey, I wanted to do this show," and they're like, "Seth, you've been a good kid. You've been a good kid, so we're going to give you this." And then when he walks out of the room, they're all, "Man, this thing's going to suck." But let him do it. Give him a season or two. I don't think they ever expected to have an actual Star Trek on their hands. I mean, the possibilities now are endless, Fox, which is now run by Disney, which might be threatening the show. I don't know. Oh man. The Price is Right review. $5. Sup, Nerdrotic, fellow Trekkie here. Peace and long life. Live long and prosper, my friend. Live long and prosper. Thank you for the $5. Jason Green, $5. I know for a fact that China doesn't do the SJW nonsense. Nope. Makes me wonder if they'll even let it open in the theaters there. Well, unfortunately, I got some bad news, but it's reported by comicbook.com. So, I mean, really take it with a grain of salt. Let's see if it's still here. Here we go. I'll just look for it this way. Talk amongst yourselves. Captain Marvel news. It still looks like there's no other movie. That whole ticket sales on the 8th thing, I think it's too far out. Golly gee. the Stanley, everything we know about Captain Marvel. Come on, where'd that article go? Oh, yes, of course. Here it is. Bet you guys were really surprised at hearing about this. Guess what's breaking all the pre-ticket sales in China? Captain Marvel, the credible CBS-owned shilltastic, shillerific, shill of all shills websites, reports that Captain Marvel beating every Marvel movie but Avengers Infinity War in advance ticket sales in China. I like doing that. When it comes to the Chinese box office, Captain Marvel is definitely going higher, further, faster. The eagerly anticipated film is beating every Marvel Cinematic Universe movie except Avengers Infinity War in the advanced ticket sales in China. There is a link there that I will get. Tracking for the Brie Larson starring superhero film is expected to bring in between 85 million to 95 million during the 3-day opening in China, which would put it on pace with Captain America Civil War. But it's the advanced ticket sales that are very impressive, which sales 76% higher than Spider-Man Homecoming and even 35% higher than Civil War. Infinity War is the only film Captain Marvel hasn't beat in advanced ticket sales in China. What about Black Panther, which did very well over there? How come they're not bringing up Black Panther? So is their source a tweet from Gavin Feng? China box office tracking Captain Marvel beat Homecoming 76%. The Wasp. Oh, they called it the Wasp. They called it the Wasp. I have been calling the Ant-Man and the Wasp since I saw it, and that is funny. That's probably what they called it over in China, and rightly so. Black Panther 43%, Civil War 35%. Now there's hey, it could actually be happening. I totally understand it. We are heading towards Avengers Endgame, so the hype train might be fully there. They might not be aware of the kerfuffle going on. And really, if they bring that stuff inside the movie, they might have a different result, but we'll see. But that's what they say. Hey, it's going to make money, dude. I mean, we are a couple months away from Avengers Endgame. You know, I don't think Disney's worried about a whole lot, except after Endgame. I think there has to be the law of diminishing returns. And I think what we're going to probably get is some safe one-off movies and something to just keep it going. But I don't think any boundaries are going to get pushed. And I think what might happen is, I got that lovely saying from Highlander and so many other things, Def Leppard, it's better to burn out than to fade away. I think fade away is more of a reality. It could be years. I mean, it could be years, but the MCU ends for what, as we know it right now, after Avengers Endgame. It's going to be there. It'll make money, but it's not going to be stratosphere unless they pull out. What really hurt them is Guardians. Guardians not being delayed hurts the hell out of them. Spider-Man, we'll see. We'll have to see. That's not all theirs. They got to work with Sony. Black Panther 2, can you do that marketing twice in a row? Well, we'll see. Coogler's a good director. I mean, he's a good director. So I'm glad they got him back. I'd like to see him take a crack at something else. Just like Patty Jenkins from Wonder Woman, I'd love to see her take a crack at Superman, because she really got the tone of Wonder Woman down, which is not that different from the tone of Superman. So, okay. That was that. I love that they said the Wasp. Solicry, Canadian $5. Nice insights. Watch the last episode of STD. What in all that is holy were they thinking? They weren't. Well, This is CW Star Trek. That's what it is. And the worst thing about it is they're making you pay for it. But this is straight up soap opera CW Star Trek. These people, they deliberately hired these type of writers and not Star Trek writers to hook in a new type of fan. They don't want old Star Trek fans. They figure you're going to come along anyway. And a lot of them did. But a lot of us haven't. And we've been vocal about it. But it's their brand. They own it. They can destroy it whatever way they see fit. But its long-lasting legacy now is in jeopardy, and I would say it's gone. They have not captured the young audience. I think, like Doctor Who, they wanted to get a larger female audience, and they think women only like soap opera stuff, which is their sexism, because a lot of women like Star Trek and Doctor Who before and have bowed out, but they didn't. But I don't think the women like those shows for the right reasons. See, Professor Geek went into this, and I totally agree. Disney wants to make truth now. They don't make stuff. You're supposed to react to the public, make what you think the public likes. Now they're starting to make stuff what they think you should like. So that's the big difference now. You should like Doctor Who. You should like Captain Marvel. I don't care if we're practically insulting you throughout all of these episodes in the movie. You should like it because you're a bad person if you don't. That's the marketing right now. And they really wonder why we're pissed. Dune buggies for everyone in the Picard series, right, Daxamite? I don't know if that's true. I like I said, I read the article. The concept of it, I'll be honest, is a concept I like. But considering who's writing it, it's going to be, well, what Star Trek Discovery is, what Titans is. Akiva Goldsman is not a good writer. He's just not. He might be good in drama. I don't know. But like all the genre stuff he touches is garbage. And you put Doom Patrol next to Titans, and it is night and day. I do have a nitpick, though. I have a major nitpick with one of my favorite characters that they represented one way in Titans, and he's completely depressing in Doom Patrol, and it's kind of starting to annoy me. The Price is Right review, $10 super chat. Oh man, I'm getting out of order here, but I'll okay. SciTech Media, I'll be right to you. I see you. Wow, holy crap. The Price is Right review. Question for you. What's your favorite moral message from the real Star Trek series? Mine is Tapestry. Q and Picard, live life to the fullest. Make your life worth living. God, that would be that's how I live my life. It would be that one right there. Live life to the fullest. You don't know when it's going to end. Just certain things that I've gone through in my life have shifted my perspective to that, because my life has almost ended a couple times. So, I live life thinking this, it's in the back of my mind that every day could be your last. So try to live life to the fullest. That's why I'm really glad, I had kids. I was really against having kids when I was younger. I'm like, never going to have kids. I'm not going to bring kids into this world. Kids are noisy and they're stupid. And listen, they're not for everybody. I don't want to sound like one of those pretentious parents, like everybody should have kids and you're not a real person if you don't. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. If it is a tough decision, and you're no less of anything if you say no. Believe me. Everybody's got their path in life, So I'm glad I did, though. My God, I'm glad I did. So that would be it right there. But as the time goes on, I'll think of another one. I'm going to have to think of it. Oh, the best message. That's a good question. That's a damn good question. I'll get back to that. SciTech Media, $50. $50, my man. Thank you. Or I'm sorry, person. Sorry about that. I apologize. Thank you so much. The Orville Season 2, Episode 9 review, Identity Part 2 by Alejandro Rojas over at Den of Geek, gave the episode a 3 out of 5. WTF, a 3 out of 5-star rating. That was a 5-star episode. Seth should kick in the doors at CBS Productions and direct episodes of STD. Seth MacFarlane, on the week that they renewed Star Trek Discovery, made CBS look like, well, bigger idiots than they already are for letting him go. Your streaming network would have record subscribers, like real record subscribers, like 10, 15. You'd be 5 years ahead of schedule if you had good Trek. I hope you realize that, CBS. And they might, like I said in the video, and when the Picard series comes, they're going to see what real Star Trek fans can do. The response to Star Trek Discovery is tepid at best, and it's not because of the diversity. Okay, it's not. It's because the show's been a hot mess. The show's had 4 or 5 creators in the last 2 years. It's not good. It's written like crap. It doesn't look like Trek. It looks like the JJ Trek. All these arguments I hear about that's bullshit. Midnight's Edge is full of shit about the contract. Then why use this aesthetic that's been rejected over and over and over again? Because Hollywood's mostly stupid. They are. I mean, they don't actually, the fact that they're starting to watch people on YouTube, maybe they're starting to care. Maybe they listen. Maybe through some of our anger, they actually hear us. In marriage counseling, that was the big thing I had to learn, is like, there's not listening. There's listening and there's hearing. And maybe they're hearing the fans, hearing us, hearing our complaints. It looks like they try to correct some stuff, but they're trying to correct it while still keeping their PC politics injected in the show and all these damn buzzwords. And it's like, oh, it's so lame. It's so lame. And it's going to be looked at, man. You think people like laugh at the mullet? Star Trek Discovery will be mocked for years to come. It will be the benchmark. It'll be like, is there anything worse than Star Trek Discovery? Nope. That's what it's going to be remembered for. Dex Night, Doom Buggies forever. Okay. Mark C, you guys who think the 90s comics are awesome, that's just because you didn't collect them during the 80s. Hey, they're both awesome, Mark C. I have a new appreciation for 90s comics, but 80s comics were magnificent. So Silhouetted Animator, thank you, Mark C. You know what my kid bought today all on his own? Yeah, but kids don't want to read Silver Age stuff, according to Bob Wayne. But my kid picked those out on his own. Silhouetted Animator, $5. I unsubbed from Double Toasted, who I used to find funny when they trashed Aquaman for the same reasons they praised Black Panther. That's unfortunate. I mean, like, I'm not. Sometimes we YouTubers have inconsistent opinions because we're human, and every human is hypocritical for sure. But yeah, I mean, like, that's your choice, Silhouetted Animator. I don't know who Double Toasted is, so I will take your word for it. But I liked them both. I like Black Panther and Aquaman. Sometimes bias can come through. Sometimes people are just Marvel guys and DC guys. Well, sometimes a lot of people are. The 300-pound gorilla in the room, $1. Shoot me a question if you got one. I like that. I like that name. Silhouetted Animator, $2. Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Man in Doom Patrol Episode 3. It was brilliant. The last 2 minutes when Crazy Jane wrote that little message in the window didn't need to be done, and that was putting in some that's exactly what I don't like. If you want pinpointed what I don't like, it's that, because it's very current year, it's very trendy, and it's trying to push a narrative that's not true. And it was within the episode. it made no sense at all. Marissa Nielsen Wilkinson, thank you for $4.99. I love your show channel. I was so glad to find it. I am glad you found it too, Marissa. Thank you so much. Thank you for the $4.99. I'm glad you're here. How long ago did you find it? How long has it been? The 300-pound gorilla in the room, $5. Gorilla, you're looking like you lost weight. You might be the 295-pound. You're looking very svelte, very handsome. Thank you for the $5 super chat. And thanks for finding the channel, Marissa. Bioshack, $5. I love the Orville. I really hope it gets a third season. Me too. It will be such a huge disappointment if season 2 is it. With Seth, the show has so much potential. It could easily, 7 seasons, easy. 7 shortened seasons. If you want to continue being a parody or taking Star Trek episodes and kind of turning them upside down, but still with love, I would love to see a mirror Orville. I think that'd be great. And you could do an opposite mirror, like not evil, like everybody's way more competent or something like that. It'd be funny. You could do it. Like Gordon is like just this master at everything and suave and something like that. But they all have handlebar mustaches instead. Ewan Murray, Nerdrotic. It's like DS9 for me with the Kree coming to the rescue. There was very much Wolf 359. Best of Both Worlds, the original or the Battlestar Galactica not pilot, but the miniseries. It was all there. Everything I love, and we could see it because it was well lit. And I'll say it before and I'll say it again. That aesthetic still works. For those of you who don't think it does and it's old, why are kids? We're in the 20-year rule. And the 20-year rule for trend scouting is once a decade becomes 20 years old, people start getting nostalgia for it because the people who grew up in that decade are now old enough to buy shit and they're nostalgic for their childhood. So that's why we get packaging like this. People actually like the VHS aesthetic. People like that. People don't like lens flares. How lame are they to continue to do lens flares when that is the single most hated thing from Star Trek? The Price is Right review. My beef with STD is the Klingons' utter disgrace. That's one of my beefs. Yes, it's horrible, and we haven't seen them that much this season. So that tells you everything. They just had to put Laurel in charge and make it a matriarchy, and then they're like, our work is done. So they all off season, they talked about Laurel's struggle in a male society and the patriarchy of the Klingon. We're going to see Klingon feminism. And that's how they dealt with it. That's how they have the human depth, the human writing depth, not personal depth, the human writing depth of a Dixie cup. So that was her big, long personal journey. It was 5 minutes of screen time. She fake cuts off a baby head and makes all the Klingons call her mother. Wow. Just wow. What's up, man of action? Bella Lugosi's dead. I'm dead. Oh, I can't wait. Peter Murphy. I can't believe he's alive. All those rock stars, when they get around 60, man. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, Bauhaus was pretty good back in the day. They were great. I love his solo stuff too. So I'm a big, big fan. Okay. I'm caught up. Ronald Bowers, $10. Gary, I have seen it all, from the Space Angel cartoons to Land of the Giants to 15-cent comics. STD is the Star Lost revival. Really? Well, is it? Let's show people. Bum, 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 bum. Revival. The Star Lost, the complete series, Harlan Ellison's series. Oh man, I seen very little of this. I know its reputation that it might be one of the single worst things ever. But I am such a Harlan Ellison fan. He helped out a dear, dear friend of mine in court one time during a plagiarism case, by the way, and they won. But yeah, I mean, to me, it is, well, I mean, like the Heaven's Gate of sci-fi. Jason Green, $5. Thank you, by the way, Ronald Bowers. Good drawing. I like, yeah, you have seen it all. 15 cents predates me. I am from the 25-cent comic era, the Bronze Age. Jason Green, $5. Do you think that if Disney hadn't bought Marvel, they would still be SJW nonsense in the newer movies? No, I don't think so. I think the direction they're going was always planned, though. Everybody's, listen, Kevin Feige's a genius until he does us wrong. I'm not going to doubt the man, but he answers to people. He's got bosses, and this has always been coming. Why do you think they introduced the all new, all different Marvel a few years back? Testing the waters. They're testing the waters, and apparently they think they succeeded. And if Captain Marvel in this marketing succeeds, oh, Ironheart is on the way. Miss Marvel is on the way. Squirrel Girl is on the way. Here it comes. The Price is Right review, $2. Might as well be Space Orcs. Yuck. Yep. Gives orcs a bad name, actually. Even, yeah. I'm very happy. Speaking of orcs, I'm very happy Will Smith backed out of Suicide Squad 2 and decided to do Bright 2 because I effing love Bright. Yes, I love it. I'm not the biggest Will Smith fan in the world, but Bright was cool as hell. I dug it. Gamer Gambit. What is up, Gamer Gambit? How's it going? $2. Happy to be an Orville. Is that what we're called now? Rock on, all you Orvies. Is that what we're calling it? Not an Orwellian. Orville. I'm an Orville. Yep, straight up. I really thought about buying a uniform because you can get them on Amazon now for like $100. They don't have the good badges though. I think you could buy those separate. Thank you, Gamer Gambit. Daxamite, $4.99. Have you read the current Female Furies? They turned Darkseid into Harvey Weinstein. All the new gods are out of. Oh, really? Darkseid was just workplace perving. Oh God. I'm so glad. I am so glad. One of the best moves of my life was selling my comic store in 2013. Because things were, I could see it coming. I never thought it would get this bad. I never. I found it a mild annoyance in the comics, but it was enough for me to like go, comics were pretty good. Marvel now was taken off and it looked like it was going in a decent direction. Who knew it was just going to take a big dump? I didn't like X-Men, Avengers versus X-Men. I liked it at first, didn't like the ending, but I generally liked the direction of comics. I could see that the New 52 was dying. Thank God. I hated that. And DC was going to go, the rumors were around. I love the whole convergence and everything. I loved it. Who fracking knew they would take such a dump? And they went straight political, and EVS was right. They Cosmic Book News did not covering it, and Brian didn't cover it. And the reason Brian, I mean, I don't want to speak for Brian, but I know him well enough to where Brian would never be a member of ComicsGate. I think I'm pretty safe in saying that. And he would never back them. Never. Not in a million years. So yeah, we can put that one to rest. But Brian's a practical man and he's a businessman. first and foremost, one of the best minds for comic book retailing I've ever come across, as far as just numbers and data and cycle sheets and doing his inventory. I mean, like, the guy knows his shit. It's all he's ever done. So his 10-point plan, I love. It's not going to work for the comic industry, but he said what needed to be said. But if Feisty's out there somewhere, her and I were doing live streams on Comics Division's channel, on my channel, saying this shit a year ago, trying to get retailers to say something about what's going on. And now they say it, and well, the fire department is already here. Most of the house is already gone. You might be able to save some stuff in the garage. The comic industry is over. It's over. Now we're just going to watch it die, which sucks. It's going to turn into something else. Comic books will always be around. There'll always be some comic stores. Not saying it's going to be gone forever, but the way we knew it, this business model does not work anymore. And it could have worked, but they decided to take advantage of it and use it to push agenda in something you should have never put it in. And it drove people away by the hundreds, by the thousands. And instead of changing course, they doubled down because the people in charge are insane, or they are just political agents, and they were put there to do a job, and their job is almost done. I don't know. I don't really care what their motivation is. They need to be gone, because we need to bring people back. And then they systematically got rid of people because people aren't perfect. Some people did some really nasty shit and needed to be put out to pasture. But John Byrne just has a dark sense of humor, and that guy got put out too. We need more John Byrnes. Okay. It sucks. Michael Turner's not around anymore. He passed away. We need more Michael Turners. There was a lot of really good people in comics that are gone, right? We need more Derek Robertsons, people who actually draw instead of the comic art right now is all cheating. It's all Photoshop. It's pretty lame, to be honest with you. And now it's so lazy. It's not even good Photoshop. So it's pretty bad. And people used to get mocked for doing that. And now it's totally okay. So Bob Wayne put out a statement about the comic industry, about inclusivity. And listen, this involves something Gerard Way said, and this has a lot to do with everything that's going on. The River Song video I'm doing, it's all connected. People coming out making these public statements. Here, I'll say it here. Bob Wayne, more diversity. Let's see if that pops up. Okay. I'll show this all to you, and I'll be talk amongst yourselves for just a second. Boom. Boom. Like I said, this isn't a judgment on Bob Wayne, by the way. Bob Wayne, by all accounts, a really great guy. Former comic shop owner himself, used to be the retail liaison for DC Comics. Not sure what he's doing right now. I have not been in the industry for 5 years. But Bob Wayne said, oh, golly. Hey, there's my boy Brian right there. But we don't want to see Brian. We want to see Bob. Okay, so here's a statement. And listen, nothing in his statement is bad, okay? But I want to tell you why he made this. Good morning. Thanks for inviting me here. Where's this? Here, there's just one little quote. Where'd it go? Here, Superboy. Where'd the quote go? I don't want to read the whole damn thing. Let's see if it's here. God dang it. Oh my God, I have to go to Bleeding Cool. I'm sorry. Look at how long it takes to load. I'll just read it to you, and then I'll tell you why it's wrong. If it ever loads. So what he said, I'm going to paraphrase instead of letting this load. So what he said was, we need to have more tolerance and inclusivity. And he was referring to having to change the comic industry and the way it is. And he put a quote, "Hey, I'm not trying to go backwards on this one. I think it's long past the time where Jimmy Olsen would use his signal watch to signal Superman to rescue a kid out of the tree and a bunch of white kids cheer him on. I don't think we're past those days. We're never going to go back to those days." Aside from the bunch of white kids cheering him on, yeah, fine. I agree with that. I don't know why that's a weird statement to make, but here we go. Here's what he said. Here's why he's wrong, though. As far as I'm talking about the storytelling, I'm not talking about the diversity. Screw it. I'll just read it to you. What he said was, "I don't believe that comics should be set in stone based on how they looked when they, to any of us when we were children. I don't believe that most readers today would be interested in stories where Jimmy Olsen uses his signal watch to have Superman get a kitten out of a tree while a batch of generic white kids gather to cheer him on. So don't misconstruct any of my remarks as support for any reactionary back to mono movements within our community. That ain't me." Okay, so that was a shot at people who are criticizing right now. That's not okay. Misconstruing again what we say. We want comics to be entertaining again. We don't want comics to be backwards again. But I will point out that my son, who, I mean, by all accounts is average kid, average. Okay, maybe he's a little weird because he's my son, but picked out this today when he was able to pick out anything he wanted. I mean, listen, I'm not going to have him read, but maybe Bob Wayne wants kids reading. Hang on. I mean, this is a comic I'm reading. Oh, here's what else he picked out today. John Byrne's Man of Steel. By the way, they sold me this at $1 a piece. Thank you very much. But maybe Bob Wayne would rather have, God, I don't even know if I can show, I'll show part of this. Maybe that's what we should be reading right now. So, no, I think you could still tell sophisticated stories, but you got to give kids access to the comics. And what you keep doing, and not you, Bob Wayne, comic industries, the kids comics are always done by some Z-listers or B-listers, and you don't try to make the comics for kids and adults. This has been my criticism since I started retailing and since I left, is you guys don't know how to get new readers because you keep thinking the new readers like all this postmodern BS, which they don't. A ton of people like, again, Aquaman wasn't this big postmodern story. It was your most basic superhero story. And you know what? Really, so was Black Panther. Black Panther was your most basic superhero story, and they were successful. So I disagree. Now, I don't know about saving a kitten, but if you showed, well, you know what? The next Superman movie, if you show him saving a kitten, I think that would actually go over pretty damn well, because Superman's supposed to save people, not supposed to kill people, destroy cities, scowl all the time. Superman is one of the best scenes is like him saving the school bus full of kids on the Golden Gate Bridge. And Superman, I think we need to go back to a little of that, telling it in a modern way. So 100% disagree with you on that one, Bob Wayne. But what did I know? Like I said, what actually I got laughed at when I brought that stuff up. I got mocked, which it stung a little bit, but here we are now. And I was saying before, why can't we go back to pulp? And the first excuse I heard, we can't go back to pulp because it's too expensive because it's on these big rolls. That's what I was told. Then I was told that it's just a conscious choice. They don't want to go back to pulp because they can't charge as much. The only reason the comic book industry is staying alive is because they've got this paper that they use that justifies them charging so damn much. They're actually not paying that much for the paper. They're doing a lot of printing overseas now. And that's where I think the comic industry is going. They're going to start farming, like animation. They're going to start farming out comic art, and maybe they'll keep the writers around, but comic art might be going overseas if it stays around at all. It might get farmed out to IDW. IDW, I'm sorry, is a shadow of its former self, and the art there has always kind of sucked. So I'm not really a fan. Either way, I have no interest in selling new comics. I have no interest in making Sana Amanad money or Joe Quesada money, and any of this ilk money until they treat their fans with respect. I have no problem opening a store and selling old stuff. No problem at all. But I looked at the new release rack, and yeah, I have very dark taste in comics. Okay. So yeah, I like the Magic Order by Mark Millar, or the Tempest by Alan Moore, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but and Fight Club 3, that's kind of my thing, but like that's not for everybody. But I haven't even read Fight Club 2 yet. I gotta work, and I'm wearing my Fight Club shirt. So but I love this. This is I adore Doom Patrol. This is so good. It's such a weird story. I mean, this is actual postmodern storytelling, like before its time, but such a cool story. Damn it, people, our stuff, everything we enjoy now has just gotten invaded, and we just ask them to stop, and we get called horrible things. I've got to find the message. I couldn't find it before I started, but somebody, it's like in the same sentence, called me a toxic, D-sucking, B-effing. I'm like, you just called me toxic, but the logic, it hurts a little bit trying to figure it out, but okay, that's fine. Just because I don't like a TV show. Bowles Trek, my good friend Bowles Trek, somebody threw up a tweet on how we can take his channel down, take away his extra income, take away his voice. Forget the income. I don't think Bowles Trek's got a day job. I think he does it actually just because he does it. And that's how I started out here. But wants to take his opinion away because it's different from his. I stand with Bowles Trek, by the way. Yeah, and by the way, yeah, going after somebody's, you're not supposed to be a false flagging fool, but that's not going to stop people. All right, I'm off my comic book thing. I'm really pissed about the comic book industry. It's been bugging me for 2 days now. I saw EVS's live stream. He did a great job covering it. I think it's a 3-part live stream now. I haven't seen them all. It's very interesting to hear things from EVS's, insider perspective. He is a creator. He knows more than your average creator about comic retailing, which not a lot of people know about nor care about. But it's too late. It's too effing late, man. Okay. Oh my God. SciTech Media, $100. If you could, shit, thank you so much. Damn. If you could write an episode for STD, what would you do to fix the show and how? Also, I am passing a box of popcorn to Seth M right now, and we can't wait to hear your version, your unique vision of the show. We love your opinions, bro. Thanks. Okay. What would I do if right now? I would take Michael Burnham out respectfully. I would center a 2-parter around her having to stop. I mean, if I have to work with the parameters, the Red Angel ends up being Michael Burnham from the Mirror Universe, and Michael Burnham has to fight Michael Burnham. And we have the Michael Burnham from the Mirror Universe uneffing all of Michael Burnham's stupid mistakes from Discovery season 1 and basically erasing her from existence for reasons, probably because of Georgiou. And we have them. I mean, this is a stupid story, but I'm thinking of this while I'm on live streaming. Basically, you give her a hero's death. She fights the Red Angel and she wipes herself out of existence and nobody remembers her. And that's how the show goes. That's what I would literally write for the show. I would erase her from the show. Or if we had to have her, I would bring in her mirror version and then see if Sonequa could act with some personality. I would take away the Vulcan stoic BS. If I had to do it with the cast I was given now, I would keep Michelle Yeoh as the stoic Captain Georgiou. She's terrible as Emperor Georgiou. Or I would make Doug Jones the captain and have an alien captain. Preference would be keeping Pike, but that means they keep Spock. Every time I think keeping Spike, that means they have Pike. They'd have to keep Spock. I'd have to think about it. I would. I think the show could be good if you had a Captain Saru. God, I would rewrite everybody though. I would make Tilly a little more confident. I would, but Michael Burnham has to go. That whole Mary Sue shit is just terrible in it. It's terrible. Yeah, bring in a mirror version and maybe she's, I don't know, just nicer. I don't know. I'm put on the spot with $100. I feel like it's such a shitty plot. But there's no way they can un-F this show right now. There's no way. Especially with what they did to Spock. They bring Spock in. They have Spock there. And in 15 minutes, the first time you see Spock on screen on TV in 25 years, he's muttering and crying. And we don't understand what he's saying. And Sarek is crying within 15 minutes after he gets chewed out by his wife for being kind of a D-bag and completely out of character. So in order to show a scene where we have a strong Amanda, there is nothing that exemplifies Star Trek Discovery more than that effing scene. That scene was to show that it was to pump up Amanda at the cost of Sarek, of another long, historic character in this series, brought down to idiocy so you can make Amanda from the L Word look good and she can say, "Try again, husband." Oh my God. When I heard that, I was just like, oh. And you know, when they write this in the writing room, it's like they have in the back of the mind, that's going to piss some guys off. And I absolutely know that's what they're writing this stuff for. That is in their mind. That is your primary motivation for writing these episodes. This is going to piss some guys off. Wow. What is wrong with you? I mean, yeah, it pissed us off. I got over it. I mean, the show sucks now and you've just buried a 55-year-old franchise. So I remember Christian Bale talking about in the Star Trek Discovery Blu-ray special features about how it was such a historic moment that 4 women were deciding the course of Star Trek. And that would have been a great moment if you weren't residing over the worst version of the show ever and destroying it. I would love to see 4 women residing over a really good Trek. I would like nothing more. But let's see if any of these 4 women in any time will do like Joel Schumacher did, taking responsibility for making something suck. Or Sam Raimi. Thank you. That's awesome, man. SciTech Media. Gamer Gambit, $2. Working a lot lately. Good to be here live again. It's good to see you. I always missed you, man, but I figured you were busy. Danosaurus, Lost in Space 3rd season episode, The Great Vegetable Rebellion, is still better than Star Trek Discovery. Danosaurus, it is. All day long. Jersey Shore is better than Star Trek Discovery. The worst trash, Flipping Vegas is better than Star Trek Discovery. Jedi Knight, thank you for the Canadian $2. You got a question? Average Jonah, good to see you. $5. Cheers to you and all in the chat. Where in the heck is all my official Orville merchandise? It's coming. There is a book that's available on Amazon. You can buy a costume. I don't know if it's official. But man, yeah, I'm willing to buy some. The Price is Right review, $2. Every single Jedi and Sith ever versus 1Q. Yeah. It'd be over. Well, unless Michael Burnham got there and then she'd kill them all with attitude. Bryce Byerly for $5. DC headline: Boy starves to death in tree. Superman never shows. Yes, Bryce. DC, the new 52. Superman saves no one. I'm done saving humanity because they're mean to me now. But that boy's gonna starve in a tree. Let him. Should I have let those people die, Pa? Maybe. Yeah. Silhouetted animator, $5. Whatever happened to Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe show? I haven't checked, but it has been out and people just aren't talking about it. I didn't know it existed. Bad marketing. Sometimes shows get made but they use all their money on actually making the show and they forget about that whole thing that people actually have to know about it. That's interesting, but listen, I don't catch everything, Silhouette and Animator, but I know you do. Marissa Nielsen Wilkinson, $4.99. Few weeks. I haven't, I don't even watch STD, but I watch your reviews anyway because they're hilarious. How tone deaf do they have to be to carry on like they are? I don't know. I've talked privately to other YouTubers about it and we're all just laughing. And the funny thing is they think like I lost sleep over this. Au contraire. Au contraire. Thank you, Marissa. I'm glad you've been around for a few weeks. That's brilliant. I love to hear that. Hey, George Orwell is here. Yeah, that's. I'm glad to see you're still alive. Still waiting for your sequel, 1985. $10 started in 10-cent era. Oh, collected 1 through 100 Thor, 10 through 100 Fantastic Four, 5 through 150 Spider-Man, ended with Secret Wars. Would rather have Marvel with some honor than the SJW zombie shills. Let Stan Lee rest in peace. Plus, they used the man. That was awful. That was awful. Aiden McGurr, how are you? I keep trying to make the video you inspired. It'll get finished eventually. 10 pounds. I love your little Ice Warrior figure. You like that on your mic? I noticed it on your Captain Marvel video the other day. Yeah, I'm going to start switching them out. I actually hate the 3.75 inches, the 3 and 3/4 inch action figures for Doctor Who, except for mic decorations because they actually fit. But otherwise I hate them. They fall apart. They're terrible. Escalante, Eccleston's Angel, $5. Am I a bad girl because I totally hate STD? Yes, you're a bad girl. Bad girl. And I'm a bad boy, and it's okay. SciTech Media, $20. Wait, your plot with the Mirrorverse Burnham coming over and going totally ape shit with Philippa Georgiou would be epic. They could team up and make a paradox so messed up that Q could fit in. Yes. Yes, that Q comes in, and then that way you could tie in your Picard show. Listen, with the Picard show, if the news is indeed true, I will have to say I think I'm partially right that a young female is going to be very instrumental in helping him find himself. But if it's going to be like Indiana Picard and he's looking for an artifact for some reason, it sounds good. But then you have to remember, through extension, this is a bad robot production. Okay. So any of you who watched Alias, any of you who watched Lost, these are mystery box shows. And it sounds like it's going to be a mystery Picard show with him chasing a MacGuffin and then getting no resolution because it's about the journey. Problem is the people writing the journey are bad. So yeah, that would, thank you, SciTech Media. I appreciate that for $20. Jesus Christ. Silhouetted Animator, $5. Apparently the Ninjak show came out on comicbook.com in April of last year. No wonder why I didn't hear about it. Oh, I didn't either. Thank you for the $5. The Price is Right review, $5. The Orville is today's Galaxy Quest. It is. Put in Tim Allen to really piss off SJWs and use the humor to soil STD. Laugh my ass off. Just my idea. I love it. They've already been poking at STD as much as they can. And it's great to see. Mark C, $5. Seth MacFarlane has a lot of restraint. I would be taking shots at STD in every show. I think he might be, and I'm missing some. I I need to rewatch them all because he's taking a shot in every other show for sure. All right, let's get to some chat here. Okay. I went really long on my comic book rant. I'm very passionate about that stuff. And it's weird. I went to my old store, the store I used to own, and spending money in it. It's weird. It's also weird that I saw the one of the people going through a comic book box to pricing comics, and like I remember buying that collection. He's pulling out a collection I bought like 7 years ago, and they're just getting to it now. I'm like, dude, I can help you price that stuff. I'm pretty quick at it. It was funny as hell. So yeah, that's where the Superman stuff came from. It's like, this is part of a collection that I bought 6 years ago. And the Man of Steel, by the way, I mean, if you guys want a good primer on Superman, this is it. Find the Man of Steel trade paperback. I'm sure it's cheap. I got those for $1 a piece, man. Yeah. Do I read any manga? No, I was never into it, Adi, but I've been getting into some anime quite a bit lately. And I like Star Blazers when I was a kid, and I like Captain Harlock. I like Attack on Titan. I mean, like everything I see, I end up liking. So I probably would love manga. I just never read much of it. Okay. What's up, Artemis over easy? Good to see you. Kega Rogers. Perpetual Punster. Tea. Earl Grey. Hot with soy milk. Picard Prime. Oh, no. No, that kills me to hear that. Oh, maybe he'll be a soy farmer. Silhouette and Animator. Take it easy, man. Catch you later. Catch you later. Love your comic book rant. Keep them coming. There's going to be more this week. This one I'm not done with, but yeah, KSS, I will keep them coming because it's something I've been building. I've been waiting 5 years to open my shop. It was what got me through. If I hit 50,000, you guys are going to hear the story of my comic store, like how it succeeded, and then it crashed and burned under my watch, and it was my fault, but I was still able to salvage it and sell it. It's very sad, tragic, but there's a lesson in it. There's a lesson in the story, and I'm glad it happened. But my comp shop was on top of the world. I was winning Best of the Bay, but kind of self-destructed. And but you'll get the story then, and I can tell you exactly what happened. It's actually kind of been written about in Bleeding Cool. It's like the only time I've ever been written about in Bleeding Cool, but they got the story completely wrong. And then I'll explain how for the last 5 years I went back to an old day job, working for Tesla and stuff. And work I hated. But I did it, and I was happy to do it to get back to owning a comic shop. And that's all I thought about for 5 years. I got comic books together. I got toys together. I got fixtures. I got money, business plan. Me and my sponsor got together, wrote down every mistake I made. And I made sure that not only did I identify the mistakes, I had to identify why I made them and a solution. Hand wrote that in a book. Took me forever. So I had the plan. I was ready to go. I had a business plan. I knew what I wanted to do. We were going to start out with a pop-up, and then I was going to find a brick and mortar, but I was going to do the pop-up for like 6 months, so I could probably be in a prime location to get everything going again. I had to wait 5 years because when you sell a store, usually there's a non-compete. So I'm not allowed to open another store down the block. So my non-compete was I couldn't open a store within 30 miles of San Francisco. And so I waited 5 years. And actually my intention was to not wait 5 years. I was going to do it in like 3 or 4, but then it ended up being 5, and then the channel took off. But before that had taken off, I was like, what the hell? I can't go back to this industry. Not in the way it's in, not in the shape it's in now. And that was 6 months ago. It has gotten so much worse in 6 months. And then CBR put out a freaking article 2 days ago stating that things are looking good for the comic industry. If you want to know that CBR is the most useless worthless site. Like, they should really shut down after writing that article. Like, seriously. I hope everybody remembers that they put that article out the day before Brian Hibbs gave his speech. And his speech was like pretty much a goodbye speech for the comic industry. I know it was like solution based and everything, but that's it, because Brian is expecting publishers, and the publisher's response to Brian, by the way, will be, okay, we'll just stop making comics. That's pretty much what their response is going to be. They're not going to do this for you, Brian. I wish they would. And another bad thing is the comic shop retailers will never work together. It's just never going to happen. Comics Pro is the closest thing you got, but I have a lot of problems with Comics Pro. Partially, I don't want to get into them right now, but maybe I'll get into them someday. But I had some problems with Comics Pro because they were too friendly with publishers. They weren't supposed to be friendly with any publishers. They were supposed to be kind of like representation for and it just never did what it needed to do. It makes speeches. It's like the UN. I'm going to make a speech at you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Brian was part of making this big thing, and it's a big deal. And there's some good comic book retailing minds behind it. Problem is, they got us over a barrel on this one. There's one distributor, Diamond, who doesn't give a fuck about us. And there's two publishers who want to get rid of comic retailers. I heard the CEO of one department at Disney say that to me vocally. We would like to get rid of comic stores. So yes, they would love to get rid of. We are a nuisance, but they kept us around because we're kind of like, loss leaders. We're like promotional material for the movies. I don't think they feel like they need us anymore. The problem is they do. But I think about it. It's like, I don't have to have a headache with Diamond. I don't have to have them. Like, I'm missing half of my product and they go, well, we'll ship you a new product. It's going to be 2 days and you got to pay for the shipping, but you didn't send me the product that I already paid for. Yeah, sorry. You got to pay for the shipping. Really? Yeah, stuff like that. Oh, and they screwed me out the door. They screwed me out the door. I'll save that for and listen, I'm over it. I can't have resentments. So I let it go. But yeah. And it's like just a couple $1,000. It's like a big company like that doesn't need to do that, but they did it. He's not the card. He's not the Picard we know. He's a clone made by Romulans. Maybe, Ken Jack Ben. But they keep telling us it's not the Picard you know. Well, there's a reason they keep telling you that, because it's not the Picard we know. Listen, if the owners of the IP, back to Star Trek, say it's canon, then it's canon. I can't argue with that. They own it. Not to me though. It's canon to you, but not to me. Let's get down here. I think. Okay. Back down to the chat. Our two main stores are closing due to tax problems. I love reading them in hand and not digitally. Ottawa, and we are down to one store. That sucks, Norm Casey. And that's in Canada. Listen, Brian and I talked about me possibly. I mean, like, he was just throwing it out there. He had thrown up a Facebook article saying, I'm thinking about selling my second store. The second store is the one he bought from me. We chatted about me possibly taking it over again. The price, I decided against it. It was just not worth it. And you can't go home again. Plus, I wanted to do something new. And I wanted to do something. I want it to be more vintage. I like old. One of my favorite things to do in the world is go to swap meets, go to like really drive around the country, hit swap meets, antique stores, finding like weird stuff. It's harder now, but it's still possible. I used to do that all the time. And then it became my job. I like going to conventions. I love going to conventions. I might still do that. I might just retail at conventions. That's my favorite thing to do. But I like talking to the customers too. That's why this whole podcast thing was invented, was so I can talk to the customers. Because I used to do this all day in my store. Remember, Canon and Prime are not the same thing. 99 Iron Duke, there's some who say it isn't and some who say it is. I don't think they're the same thing. I agree with you. I think there is a business deal that we are not aware of all the details of with CBS and a non-compete with Viacom and Paramount. And that's why there's certain things they can't do in this Trek. And as more time goes on, the more obvious that becomes. And the fact that why use the word prime at all? Why not just say it's not Kelvin? I mean, why is there's no confusion with Kelvin anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. So why say prime? Why even bring it up? Why did that article say they're running parallel to each other? Time doesn't run parallel to each other. That's not how it works. So why would we even mention that? So maybe it was just bad writing. I don't know. Don't do it, Nerdrotic. We need you. I won't do it. Whatever I completely said I was going to do. If you do another comic book store, be sure to have an online way to buy things. You're a bit far from me, but I would like to support your endeavors. Gamer Gambit, I think I'm just going to go online for now. Actually, I have to, because Mr. Nerdrotic's been on my ass about it. And I've got to get rid of this stuff. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it's going to be online. It's going to take time, but I'm just going to start throwing up at nerdrotic.com. You'll see like a few things go up at a time. And then eventually, hopefully it snowballs and there's more and more. SJWs are just like the Borg. They are, Wolf Council. They are. And, I got to repeat something Doomcock said yesterday. When I say SJW, I do not mean a person who is progressive or on the left. It is a totally different thing. It's a totally, totally different thing. All are welcome here. Okay. Christ. If I didn't like people on the left, the town I live in would be the most miserable experience of my life. Too bad you can't get your pinball machine in there. I know. I want to so bad. I have a Spider-Man pinball machine. I'd love for it to be in this room. I have actually the Sega Spider-Man video game and the Spider-Man pinball machine, but I can't get it up here. It's impossible. I'd have to, when we knock out that wall in our kitchen, I might be able to do it, Mary. Best experience ever was finding a Golden Age faucet Captain Marvel at an antique store for $10. That got me hooked. That is awesome. Archmage Frey. Best buy I've ever made. Some guy came in, said, I found a bunch of Golden Age comics at my grandpa's. I know they're worth a ton of money. I don't care. And it was a short box, and he's all, give me $600. I looked at one comic and I'm all, I'll give you 7. I gave him $700. I made $10,000 on that box. I was like, God. And I told the guy, I'm like, are you sure? Holy crap. What the hell? I see 20,000 COP. What's a COP? Okay, I'm going to have to look that up. Sorry. Give me just a second. Holy shit. Colombian. Hey, do you have a package on the way from Colombia? I'm just kidding. What's up? If a big company like Sony wanted to go into the comic book industry, would you think it possible for new ideas, new characters, and a $2 price per comic would save the industry? No, I don't think so. It would have to have already started already. Everything's too entrenched to start new stuff. I think Netflix, if they would hurry the hell up with Mark Millar's stuff and put out more stuff, it might be a good loss leader for them and they can afford it. The problem is the comic book industry is aging out. They just never got kids back. And there's a lot of, they never got kids back. Retailers hold responsibility for this too. There's a lot of retail. I mean, like comic book stores are a ton of work. a ton of work. And there's nothing more. When I was a comic book fan, I wouldn't get mad, but I'd be disappointed because every town I go into, everywhere I travel, first thing I do is find the local comic shop, and that's where I'm going to go there, whether it's international or national. Christ, there's a couple of comic shops in in like little podunk towns in Nevada that do fine. And then there's ones in big cities that don't work. I don't know, but I went to the comic store and it's like empty blank walls, and they got a few new releases, and it's mostly, magic cards and stuff. It's like, you got to try harder than that. You got to have a bunch of product. You can't have this like little room of a store and I'm going to go all the way over there. So that's what I put in mind when I put my comics shop. I wanted to make my shop a place where it was worth driving 50 miles to. And if you didn't buy anything, you still enjoyed the experience. And nobody just walked into my store and left. They always looked at the walls, and because I put stuff on the effing ceiling, it was head to toe covered with stuff. So this room is like what my store looked like. So it's at least entertaining to look at. And it was expression too. And it looks like my mouse is dying. Hang on. Let's plug it in for a second. Where's my other mouse? There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Back up. Oh, it's not working. Great. Just a moment. Worst time possible. Stupid Max. I don't want to give you a crotch shot. Hang on. Why aren't you working? Okay. So okay. I want to get back to talking about the Orville too. So what do you guys think? Why haven't they announced a season 3? What are your thoughts on it? By the way, politically honest, thank you so much for the 20,000 Colombian dollar super chat. That is amazing. Is it really? Okay, so I looked it up and I put COP money, and why is it so blown up? And it is a currency, a Colombian peso. I so have to go down to South America so bad, and not for, obvious reasons, but I want to go down there. I want to go down there, check out like all the ruins and stuff like that. See the beautiful country of Colombia. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, everybody. So I will be taking a week off from the channel. I really don't want to, but I can't pass up a bought and paid for trip to Italy. Like somebody's like floating it for us, so I have to go, and it's for a wedding for Mrs. Neurotic's doing a wedding at some castle. I will attempt to live stream from there. The castle has internet. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I am going to pull out all the stops to make it happen. And I also will cover the freaking Orville. I won't cover Star Trek, but I'll cover the Orville somehow. Okay. Somehow I'm going to try to put some videos in the can so you guys won't even notice I'm gone. I just don't want, the channel's growing so much and I don't want to jinx it, but I can't not go. You understand, right? I have to go. Oh, okay. It's working. All right. Great. Sounds terrible, you poor man. I know. Listen, that is not anything I could ever afford to go to right now. Like, no way in hell. That's why I said yes. But yeah, there's no way I could afford to go there. That's why when Melissa brought it up, I'm like, I can't go. You kidding me? I just quit my job and started YouTubing full time. It's only been a few months. It's not even been a few months. It's been 4 months. So yeah, believe me, I'm very, very grateful that somebody needs my wife to do their hair so bad that they're willing to pay. Vanity, man. It's my favorite sin. What movie is that from? You get a no prize if you tell me what movie that's from. I love that movie, by the way. God is an absentee landlord. Come on. Come on. You guys know it. Brandon Papa. Okay. How am I supposed to? Papa. Oh, God. Brandon Papa Giorgio Foley. Do you think when Paramount auctions off all of Star Trek, the collection off at Christie's, they made a deal with the buyers that they would never use it again? Show Captain Picard flute. Oh, maybe. I didn't know they did that. Did they really do that? Hang on. My insight, I mean, like, he shot me some messages today. So one of the rumors is Trek might be for sale. Another rumor is that when Viacom and CBS combine, they want to buy Sony. What's the other stuff? Okay, so it looks like season 3 is definitely going to be a shorter episode count. I figured that. Oh my God, the Telosians. Did you guys check out the Telosians, how they're going to look? It certainly looks 25% different. It looks 25% different to me. I used to think they could fix STD, but now I know Prime isn't canon. I just say delete it and give us real Trek from a competent people. Harp the radical moderates. I think someday you might get that, but not anytime soon. This is what we're getting for now. So just kick back and enjoy the Orville. That's all I've got to say. Brandon, thank you for the $10, by the way. I really appreciate it. I will try to have a safe flight, Jody. You know how I feel about flying now. And it's not for, it's, you know, it's at the end of March. So I am not going to miss the Orville finale, but I might miss the Star Trek Discovery finale, and I could care less. Fox Disney may be trying to back alley deals in regards to the Orville for CBS. If so, they'll state that they aren't worried about the liability. Moonspot rocks. My question is, how can one company own 2 networks? That can't be like legal. Can it? Can one company own 2 of the big broadcasting networks? I heard somebody in somebody's live stream chat say that they'd have to shut down Fox. I don't think that would happen. That's a little crazy, but I hope they renew Orville. It's what Star Trek is supposed to be. Sharknan 1, yes, it is what Star Trek is. It is the spirit of Star Trek. I have a question. Why change the logo? Star Trek Discovery. You have the Star Trek logo, the letters are iconic as hell. Why change it? Because it looks terrible, by the way. Why does it not look like Star Trek? I don't understand. Wedding. Don't lie. You're going to Lord Doomcock's secret headquarters. Well, Joker 79, if I was, I wouldn't be telling you. Definitely wedding. Didn't Brendan Fraser play a Colombian drug lord in a movie? I think so. He's quite good as Robot Man. Yeah, I could say I'm live in a castle. How rad is that? I've never been. I've been in a castle like in Europe before, but okay. My God, you guys are just not. I can't believe we've had like over 700 people for this long. This is crazy. This is brilliant. Okay, Christie's Trek sale brings in 7.1 million. Enterprise D sells for $576,000 in October 7th of 2006. Dude, I bet you would sell for so much more than that. So much more than that. I will make it legal. Emperor Mickey, classic comics, $5 exactly. They'll make whatever. Yes, I agree with that 100%. They just, you know what? That's why we can't have this. It's some skullduggery. It is shenanigans. It is tomfoolery to the extent. The Fox News was not sold to Disney. But I'm talking about the network, spicy nacho cheese. Like the one, 24 is on, or spicy nacho haggis. Yeah. SJW Picard will be an emotional mess. The plot didn't sound SJW, but they didn't really give us the plot. They just gave us characters. There was a lot of strong women. Hey, at least one of the women had an alcohol and drug problem and not a bad father, but I bet you they'll mix in the bad father with the alcohol and drug problem. I'm calling it right now. Since STD is about to time travel, we are going to get Michael showing up in the Picard series. A lot of people have been saying that Luffy is God, and I'm going to say I would agree with you. I mean, the crazy shit they're doing now is just funny and it's predictable. That's the thing. I'm going to start. We had a guy in our chat last season for season 1, Langley Neely, predicted every goddamn thing that happened every episode like he was in the writer's room. Now he wasn't. I'm going to start doing that now because it's getting so predictable. So the Orville, the goddamn Orville. How do you top these episodes? I'm okay with them kind of dialing it back, going back to a character episode, but they're really going to have to explore Isaac, like how not cool some of these people are going to be with him. But I feel more sorry for Isaac now than anything. And there's definitely emotion now. When you have intention, Isaac's like, I don't want to go back to my homeworld. Fuck these guys. And you find out he's kind of like the baby. Like he's the first one they've built since the decimation. How long ago was the decimation? Was it recent? And it does make a difference. If it's like 1,000 years ago, okay, it still sucks, but okay. But if it was like 10 years ago, that's a problem. Do you think the Kalons are coming back this season? I do. Do you think the Krill are going to they're just going to be best buds? I don't think so. I think they're going to be in a conversation. That's one of the messages I liked. It's one of my favorite things. That's why I like Game of Thrones. It's why I liked Serenity, the movie. It's why I like The Expanse. It's you have the squabbling parties and then the outside entity comes in willing to kill them all. Kind of like what we're going through now on planet Earth, except that we don't have an outside entity yet coming to bring us all together. But I dug that. I dug that element. It's one of my favorite things to do. But I hope they don't all of a sudden they're cool with the Krill. I mean, the Krill are literally a species left in the dark. So, we'll see. Seth has been pretty good about showing both sides of a story, even though we know what side of the aisle he comes from. But, we've got these Avis worshipers. And remember in one episode, they had a human head, and they don't look at as humans or Krill. They're just, they basically look at us like we look at animals. So this could be like the Dominion War, where the Klingons, Romulans, and Cardassians were all on a shaky alliance. That's where I think they'll go. That would be way more interesting than all of a sudden we're friends. Right on. High five. The Cobra Viper, $5. STD is the karma cost for the Star Trek fans' hyperbolic hate on Enterprise. I joke, sort of, 80% joking. I miss Enterprise. The Cobra Viper, I think there's a lot of Trek fans out there who would, and I'll speak for myself. I have already publicly apologized to Brandon Braga, to Rick Berman, to Scott Bakula, to all of the bad things. And there have been a lot that I've said in the past. I am deeply, truly sorry. I did not know what I was saying. I did not appreciate Star Trek for what it was. I took it for granted. And now I'm really, really sorry. I humbly ask you to bring it back. It really sucks it didn't get a different season. Even that god-awful last episode is better than anything Star Trek Discovery's ever given us. And yes, absolutely. And Brandon Braga, by all accounts, he was new. I guess he went through some kind of intern program, and I guess he needed to get his legs under him, because what he's doing now with the Orville is as good as any Trek. Those are the Nerdrotic dogs. Mrs. Nerdrotic is coming home, so please excuse the barking in the background. Richard De La Rosa, love the krill. They are the parallel to our RL religious fanatics, believing a doctrine that they are the chosen one and they are infidels not worthy of life coexistence. I do too. I do as well. And there's a way to handle that. And also, Richard, I hope they use that to handle all religions and not just pick on, well, I'll just come out and say it, not just pick on Christianity, which is Hollywood likes to use as a pastime. I am agnostic. I'm not a religious person whatsoever, but there's a big but. I don't judge people for, spirituality or going. And if that makes you happy, I almost envy people sometimes, who can find happiness in that. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I've told the story before. The happiest human being I know has got a lot of Jesus in his life. And at first, when I met the guy, I thought he was like secretly, he like literally had skeletons in his closet. Nobody's this happy. There's this guy's hiding something, because that's my jaded personality. Got to know the person and he's the real deal. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Rock on. I think you should be able to pick on Christianity, absolutely, in art and everything else equally. I think everything should be picked on. I'm not saying don't pick on stuff. When Doctor Who makes white dudes look like idiots, I'm not saying stop making dudes look like idiots. I mean, go ahead, but just make sure you spread the love. Like I've said before, go right the F ahead. Just don't make it that over and over again. I mean, okay, I'm going to bring it up in Doom Patrol. And if this is controversial to some people, I apologize. I do. So real quick, Doom Patrol is magnificent. Now, I love the comic book series. I love the Grant Morrison series. I love everything about the Doom Patrol. I like them more than I like the X-Men. It's been kind of I don't know. I'm weird. My two favorite DC things are the Teen Titans and the Doom Patrol, and Green Arrow. I don't like Green Arrow that much anymore, but I used to. And it's really a well done show. It's about misfits. The misfit thing, I know these days is a little overdone, honestly, but it's done so well here. I love it. Is there some PC kind of SJWs things very lightly thrown in once or twice? Nothing horrible. But anytime you have an entity that is stored inside a jackass, and the only way he can come out is when this jackass farts, and he turns out to be this godlike superhero. See, that's the one thing this Doom Patrol is doing so well, and they captured the spirit of Grant Morrison, is what if powers went horribly wrong in people? So, I mean, it's basically not special. It's clinics and stuff with people with with horrible disfigurements and stuff like that. They applied that to superheroes, and they're exploring this and the loneliness and the isolation these people feel. It's fantastic. And how they don't feel like superheroes. They're like, we're not a superhero team. And like, God damn. Elastigirl is fucking great in this. Robot Man is fucking great in this. The one thing I have a problem with is Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative was portrayed brilliant in Titans. Kind of fun. He was in there cooking, AC/DC, having a good time. In this show, we're going through his very, very mopey phase. I'm hoping he gets out of it eventually. It's interesting, but I like the other version better. And Cyborg was a very pleasant surprise. Very pleasant surprise. The costume is, they're trying to save some money, but the kid playing Cyborg is very good. It's really, really good. So I'm very happy. Crazy Jane is growing on me. Yes. The professor is brilliant. Timothy Dalton is great. He's great. I'm trying to think. Oh, and Mr. Nobody by Alan Tudyk's Mr. Nobody, who's the narrator who breaks the fourth wall. There's even one point in the episode. What do you think you're doing here? Well, Or the professor goes, "You don't control this story." He's all, "Yes, I do. There's nobody watching anyway, except for the hardcore Grant Morrison fans and the 3 people who actually took this stupid streaming service deal." It was great. It was great. Yeah, that now they did bring in Nazis in the 3rd episode, and it's really okay. Now, DC Universe, I have the question of who are you making these things for? Who are you making these things for? Because you opened the 1st episode of Doom Patrol with Brendan Fraser having a girl bent over a table and her boob hanging out. Now, hey, rock on. But what if I told my kid to watch Doom Patrol and I wasn't watching? Just consider that. So we want to bring more kids into comics. And this is the same network you have Young Justice on. So I honestly don't mind if my 13-year-old sees a boob once in a while. Okay. I saw boobs once in a while when I was 13. I don't think it's going to break him. Actually, I think it's probably good. I don't want him seeing, people getting decapitated over and over and over again. That's not something I want him seeing, but once in a while, listen, I'm not going to be a helicopter parent. Okay. My kid can do what he wants. He's a pretty good kid. I trust him, but what the hell? Either way, though, the show's pretty good. The only thing I had a problem with at the end, after they defeated the Nazi arm, and that was a pretty good fight. When by the way, when Cyborg came in, I thought I was going to get Jimmy the Street, but we got Cyborg. We're going to get Jimmy the Street. We got Mr. Animal, Mineral, Vegetable at the end. It's full on comic book and it is fucking fantastic. But Crazy Jane wrote in on the airplane on the way back. She wrote in the window. She wrote in something about control is a tool for fascism. I'm like, ugh, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. And of course, fascism is bad and control is a tool for fascism, but it's trying to run with this narrative that we're in danger of actually being under a fascist government right now. That's hyperbole and it's crazy. And it's turning into a trope nowadays. It didn't need to be there, but it's there. It didn't totally take me out of it because mostly that stuff's not there. They focus on the Grant Morrison-ness of the Doom Patrol and the brilliant Brendan Fraser. I know it's voice acting, but it's great. He is killing it in this show. So yeah, I highly recommend Doom Patrol. I think it's worth the money for DC streaming. Titans is not. Doom Patrol is. All right, Jim O'Neill, do you think someone who was close to the crew member that was blowing out the airlock will try to kill Isaac? Jim O'Neill, yes. I think I think you've just set up a plot for the rest of the season, Jim, don't you? I've said it before. Tyala has to deal with half of her, her security staff is gone. Ed has got to deal with a large portion of his crew is gone. He saw Kelly almost go to her death. He let his ex-wife, no matter what, go to their enemy with his best friend, who by all accounts would have decapitated them and used them in a religious ceremony. There was so much the trauma of losing a large portion of your fleet. I think there's tons of stories. Good one, Jim. Very good. The Cobra Viper. I already read that one. Ronald Bowers, $5. Eat in Europe. Just be glad you do. You do not have to carry a rifle. This is true. But you don't have to carry one here either. You have to carry your AK or your Glock. Yeah, boy. But that's true. Oh, I can't wait to go there, man. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Well, we're going to have, maybe Billy Joel will save us all, in the Orville. I despise Billy Joel. Avis. Any chance you could do a stream on SJW's Ruining Sci-Fi, etc. with Doomcock and Bolstrek? Yes. Bolstrek and I have been in touch. He's got a very busy schedule and a day job. He and I are probably going to do something on the weekend. I should have contacted him. I really want to talk to him about that guy wanting to bring down his channel. I mean, it's just one guy, but anytime you hear that, it gives you pause. False flagging gets done all the time. Timothy Dalton is great. He is a great actor. Bond is what I like him the least in. I loved him as Rassilon, spitting Rassilon. Sad Puppies retrospective. Yeah, Tyro. Our good friend George R. R. Martin was a big part of that. But it's hit everything. I wonder how many people actually know about Sad Puppies, like who are Doctor Who fans and or even comic fans. The ComicsGaters out there probably have no idea what Sad Puppies is. And it actually, ComicsGate is closer to Sad Puppies than it was Gamergate. All of them were their same thing. I don't know what you call the thing going on TV. It's just I don't know, Invasion Gate. I have no idea. The spitting nasty, right? Remember his Rassilon was just yeah. It was gross. Hail Rassilon, the Spit Lord, right? Hey, Rassilon, yeah. All right. A YouTuber named Nitpicking Nerd made a good observation about the preview for the next Star Trek Discovery. In the TOS, the Telosians are all played by female actors. Now they seem to be male. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Oh, they're being sexist. What do you want to bet, Hunter? They didn't know. Billy Joel, say goodbye to Hollywood is the only way to save us. It really is. Didn't Monday Matt get caught doing that? Doing what? Was it something I said? I think, you mean false flagging? Yes. Your God is nowhere. Yes, he did. A lesson should be learned. Apparently he had been suffering from burnout. He had just had a kid. I know how, I'm going to have a little bit of sympathy for him. Like, I've had a kid and know, like, it fries you, man. Woo! But I would have never false flagged anybody. He was getting a lot of shit. He false flagged people, and then he tried to deny it. This is all a matter of public record, by the way. I'm not saying anything. And he said he was sorry, but then he went back on it. So I don't know. It's a lesson to be learned by all YouTubers. That's why, don't talk bad about other YouTubers. I'm not even talking bad about Monday Matt. That's the past. Apparently he's weathered the storm, and good for him. I hope he apologized and meant it, and I hope the people accepted it, and that's all over. I would never do that, and I hope somebody would never do it to me, but you never know. You never know. We're all in this together, even if we don't agree. I've already had YouTubers making videos about me. Thank you. But I also want to mention that usually when I see a YouTuber attack another YouTuber, I will say, without saying any names, that it's usually when the attackee passes the attacker in subs. Oh, I was looking for that, Cameron Hamilton. Hang on. Thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me, because it was DM to me. I talked about it earlier with the Rotten Tomatoes stuff. It's just the continuing of the spin. I also talked about how Captain Marvel is considered to be tracking higher than any other Marvel movie except Infinity War in China. Why would you mention that? Why would you mention that? It's a Marvel movie. It's going to do good. It's going to do good. Nobody's real. I know Jeremy's not going to see it, and I support Jeremy. I love Jeremy. I still think it's going to do good. How good? I have no idea. But I don't want to reward the marketing. I don't care if the goddamn movie is the best fucking excuse my language, Marvel movie ever made. I don't want to reward this marketing. So I'm seeing it once for the channel. I'm not going to buy it on Blu-ray. I'm not going to buy any merchandise involved with it. I'm not going to do anything. And if it does turn into be a movie filled with that stuff, I will watch Endgame and then I'm done. I mean, I really don't cover movies at all. What the hell happened? Okay, but there was one other Captain Marvel thing not confirmed yet. I got to see if I got sent the link. Okay. Let's see here. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm trying to get to my inbox. A lot of people send me stuff on Facebook, on the Facebook page. I rarely see this stuff. Usually Mrs. Nerdrotic or Susan used to catch it. Okay. Go. Oh, I'm not seeing. I can't find it. Here. Yeah, I don't know about. Okay, so it was more or less. I don't know about the can't purchase tickets for other movies on the 8th. I think it's just too far ahead, and Captain Marvel's that big of a movie. I haven't checked lately. It seemed to have been about that, but I wanted to show you a comic book cover. I think I still have the screenshot of this. Let's go to the 8th real quick. I'm checking my time here. I don't think there's anything to that, and I wouldn't be surprised that if Fandango sells some kind of ad package to where they won't show any first run movies for a midweek movie, and Disney paid for it. Yeah, I'm still seeing on the 8th. I can only get movies for Giant Little Ones, Who Will Write Your History at the Vogue Theater, and Captain Marvel, Styx, I'm Not Here, and The Mystery of Picasso at the Roxy Theater. But those aren't like real. And then Captain Marvel, but there is no Alita Battle Angel or anything. Nope, still not there. Still not there. Now let's see if the screenshot is still here. It's not. So hang on, I'll find it. This is hilarious. This is funny. So they keep on trying to tell us that Captain Marvel's so OP, she's powerful, she's the bestest ever. It's getting ridiculous. And comic fans might know about this already. It's a one shot. It's coming out. It came out this month. It's Captain Marvel one shot. If it ever wants the goddamn load here, I want to show you the cover. Come on, internet. Don't do me bad here. Yeah. So look at the title of this comic. It is the dumbest title I've ever seen of a comic book. It's the penis envy, I'm trying too hard title of a comic book. Captain Marvel, Braver and Mightier. Captain Marvel, Braver and Mightier. Notice she's smiling there, right there. Why don't they call it Captain Marvel, Braver and Mightier and better than any Marvel superhero ever, because she's the bestest ever and she's really better than men. And how much do you want to bet the Captain Marvel movie has the anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. What do you want to bet that is in the movie? It's so basic. Braver and Mightier. Oh, it's sad. It's pathetic. They are trying so hard. Listen, I'm sure the board members at Marvel or Disney went, she's called Captain Marvel. It's the namesake is in the title. She needs to be our super. Listen, it all works, guys. She can be our Superman. For one, the women thing is really hot right now, so we can ride the woman thing. All right. And then we need a namesake superhero because we don't own our namesake superhero anymore because we sold part of it to Sony because we're a bunch of dipshits, Spider-Man. So we need to make a new face of Marvel because you can make truth. You know, there is a line in Star Trek, not Star Trek, Star Wars, fucking Resistance, that stupid, dumbass cartoon. In the first trailer, one of the first lines is, "You go make your truth." There's no such thing as your truth, by the way. But that's what Disney's trying to do. And I'm circling all the way back to what I was talking about before. They are trying to make truth. They're trying to make an icon. Doctor Who is trying to make an icon. They're trying to force you to watch stuff and guilt you into watching stuff. And if you don't, you're sexist. And if you criticize something, you're sexist, or worse, racist. They're both bad. I mean, like, I just, think race is probably worse. I don't know. I think they both bad. You shouldn't be either. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create this perception. They're trying to make truth instead of make entertainment. And Captain Marvel, braver and mightier and better than everybody. Wow, it just makes me want to read that title. I've seen some pretty stupid comic titles in my time. Okay, that's it. That's the worst. I've seen comic titles misspelled. This is the worst. That nothing says we don't really believe in this character at all than this. We're just trying to get you to believe for a little while. Oh, man. It's bad. To be fair, reality is agreed upon collective perception. M.K. Dumas, 1981. Well, it kind of. I mean, we collectively kind of agree, but how do I know you really agree? It's only my perception that you agree. So it's a collective perception based on my individual perception that you're even part of the collective. Oh, we could do this all night. I'm not sexist or racist for not wanting to watch bullshit. No, you are a person with good taste and a sound individualist mind. Did you catch the Orville calling individualism bad? I did. Well, they used it through Kalon, but they used that as one of the things that was wrong with their society. But you could look at it as like a Kalon would, basically a hive mind would look at individualism as bad. Neurotic, it's been leaked that for a second set of scenes were recorded for Endgame that Brie had less involvement in case Captain Marvel fails. I wouldn't be surprised, and that would actually be smart, Harp the Radical Moderate. That would actually be smart. And when they call people in to do these reshoots, they don't tell them what they're for. I mean, they could call, like, Captain Marvel. Okay, it's not going to be, but let's just say Captain Marvel is an utter bomb. Like, it just bombs. And they call Brie in to shoot an extra scene that ends up being like her death scene, but they don't tell her. And she finds out after the movie comes out. That shit happens all the time, man. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but someone loves the music of Irving Berlin. Yes, they do. That's the whole thing, Gary. They can do anything. They could do anything non-offensive. Look up for the laugh. Marvel Fearless and Fantastic Female Superheroes Save the World. The new book on sale. Is that real? Oh God. Oh man. If I saw that shit in previews, I'd be saving a lot of money selling comics right now because I wouldn't order any of this crap. There was no way in hell I would ever put something like that on the freaking wall of my store. Never. Oh my God. Hang on. I'm going to see if that's for real. I saw the super chat. I'll be right there. No, no, say it ain't so. Oh, there it is. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh, it's okay. It's like a source book. It's like the strong oh my God. Fuck this. Your pop-ups. Oh God. Yeah, it's a real thing, folks. It's a real thing. Let me get this up here. Artemis over easy 9.99. Great stream tonight at Neurotic. Here's to Captain Marvel utter bomb. God. I don't want it to be. I don't want to reward this marketing though. So honestly, I'm almost at the point where we're kind of hoping it is. I kind of hope it is. And that's saying that about an MCU movie is just so illogical at this point. JPRPH1 $4.99. Glad you recommended Umbrella Academy. It wouldn't be it would have been off my radar. Binged it in 2 days. Thanks. Just added Bright to my next list too. JPRPH1, Bright is good. It's not for everybody, but it's Training Day and Lord of the Rings. I love it when things get that weird and they mix and it works in every way, shape, or form for me. Because it's just weird, man. I'll watch that again tonight. I dug the hell out of that movie, and I can't tell you why. I like fantasy. I do. I like orcs and freaking elves and shit. So, thank you, JPRPH1. Those are kind words. Thank you. Milk my man tits. Australian $5. G'day, mate. It's past 12. Time to crack the bush cooks and down the tinies. Mate, enjoy your content. Keep it up, princesses. Australia. Oh my God. The professor isn't Doom Patrol. The Doom Patrol is I keep on saying that now. Niall, the chief. You're right. You pronounced my name correctly the other day. Can't wait to see the repercussions of the battle on the Orville. I can't either. James, if I can do it again, James Villegas or Villejas, and he's got Obi-Wan in a Colonel Sanders uniform. That Australian one got me going. That's brilliant. Really? I only know it from Crocodile Dundee and I don't know, Monty Python. I get my Australian accent from listening to way too much Monty Python. We discussed the Orville kind of throughout the entire Villegas. Okay. Villegas. Because like when you have VILL, it's Aya. Villegas. I got it. Neurotic, if you want to dump on STD, just do a side-by-side comparison of this battle versus the battle of binary stars on STD. That's a very, very, very good idea for a video. Kavinsky Smith. I'm going to have to write that down in my video idea book. I've got so many ideas. I'm so behind on everything. Oh, where's my idea book? Shit. Oh, there it is. Oh, by the way, buy these books, folks. This is good shit right here. I just dug these out. These are first prints. I mean, not that they're worth any. There is like a hardcover set out there that's worth all kinds of money. And I usually like to buy first prints. I have a first print Game of Thrones. I have a first print Harry Potter. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford a first print Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I can't buy stuff like that anymore. I'm trying. I'm like, yeah. YouTube is my main job. I'm a little cheap these days. Okay, so that's a good video idea. STD battle Orville. Awesome. That goes into the idea book. All right. Hell yes, some of the best books ever written, sci-fi genre, right? Australians are to Britain and Ireland what Texans are used to be to Americans. Oh, okay, so they're cool. So they're cool. I always thought they were cool. I think Texans are cool. Yeah. I mean, I love California. I love the state I'm from. I was born here. I'm a native Californian, but I'm a Southern Californian, which is a lot different than a Northern California. I'm from San Diego, which is a lot different from somebody from LA, believe it or not. So, I mean, we San Diegans have our own set of problems. So we're not above anybody else, but we're different. We're definitely different. Do the Expanse books conclude the story? Is the Expanse show true to the books? Bionic belly button. Yes, it is very faithful to the books, extremely faithful. Not dogmatically faithful. They make changes that actually improve on the books. Everybody, like everything else, is a lot prettier on the TV show than they are in the books. They're a bit younger. But the show is hardcore. And Miller is a better character in the show than he is in the book. He's great in the books, but he's a better character in the show. Tom Jane killed it. Tom Jane is now my favorite actor, period, because of his work as Miller. LA can be skanky, but there's parts of it I adore. Your God is Nowhere. Burbank is a brilliant place to live. Simon and Simon. Oh, DJ Bowman, you win. Simon and Simon was one of my favorite shows because it was in San Diego and everybody in San Diego loved the show. The entire town of San Diego stopped Thursday night at 9 p.m. after Magnum PI when Simon and Simon came on. That's right. Doors and corners, everybody. Yeah, I think it's time to actually go. I think it's time to go. It's been a little over 2 hours. People are dipping out. Wow, not many. Jesus Christ. You're listening to me now. What's up? I don't even know if Mrs. Nerdrotic came home yet. So here's the plan. I love Simon and Simon, man. Love that show. Love Magnum PI. Remember their crossover with Magnum PI? That was good times. Freaking Cosby Show killed them all. Fucking Cosby. San Diego's too hot for me. Michael, it's if you live on the coast, it's 75 degrees year round. Doesn't get hot there a lot unless you're inland. Don't go. I'll be back. Thank you so much, Perth Comics. I have videos to make and I will be back tomorrow. Well, in video form, you're going to see me quite a bit. So the Orville breakdown is coming. The Doctor Who video is coming. Monday, there's a whole other live stream Monday in the morning. Oh, by the way, tomorrow night, Exozone with Doomcock. So yes, I'll be back. It's all good. Tom Jane is my Punisher. He is. Did you see the parody remake of the Simon and Simon theme song? No, but I will look at that, DJ Bowman. Doctor Who, Legalopolis in theaters March 13th. Odie Rex, yes. And I bought my tickets even though it has that god-awful she logo on it. Yes, I did. I did buy my tickets. So yes, I'm going to see Doctor Who in theaters on March 13th. I always have a problem. Legopolis. The final fourth Doctor. It's very sad. It's not one I've watched a lot. I hate watching Final Doctors. The End of Time I watched a lot, but I don't like. I think I've seen only a couple times. I don't like it. Yes, Exozone tomorrow. Hi, Gary. It seems like Dune universe is about to make a resurgence in popular culture. Well, that depends. What have you heard? And are you worried about it, what they may do with it. Andre Suzy, the only thing I'm worried about is the director. I know everybody loves him. I think the guy's kind of boring. I liked his work on Ex Machina, but I did not like Blade Runner. And I didn't see the other movie he was in. He's visually stunning, but it's just, so I hope he visually captures Dune, but it moves. Dune's a tough sell on general public. I'm telling you. It's not pretty enough. They might have to, I mean, that's sorry. It's it's on a barren world for some part of it. And yeah, we'll see. I hope it works. I do. I know some people hate Dune and some people love Dune. I'm indifferent. Can we make a Dune film without David Bowie? No, we can't make anything without David Bowie. I'm very sad. They used a David Bowie song in Doom Patrol, though. That was very good. All right. So, hey, I'm not going to show the Patreon video. I got somebody getting mad at me because I didn't put them on the Patreon video. So I'm not going to show it until it's updated. So I got somebody get kind of mad at me. And I'm like, sorry. There's like 20 people I need to add to it. So thank you for joining the Patreon. I will thank the super chatters while I still have a voice, although I got to do a video afterwards. Hey, let me share them. Let's share them. So what's coming up? We got Exozone. Got a Doctor Who. I've got a Star Trek. I've got 2 Star Trek videos, an Orville breakdown video. I'm working on a big video, like one of my first like real, probably half-hour long documentary things. I don't know when I'm going to be done. But what inspired me was something that happened in Doom Patrol. I actually worked on it a bunch today, and it's going to take a while, but it's going to be identifying. I'm going to show you guys what I think is annoying people in shows, and it's not what other people think. I've seen some videos on this, but I'm going to like get into the weeds. I'm going to go like, here's a particular moment that was an unnecessary political statement to make a political statement in a TV show that did nothing for the narrative. And it was just to push some politics and piss people off. And I'm going to try, and it's really easy to find nowadays. It used to be a little harder, and maybe you like this video, maybe you won't. We'll see. Okay. Mark C, Jared Monorino, The Ben Talks, Mexi Man and Cheese, Jason Green, Mark C, Daryl Rayner, Chris Blake, Astaroth, Hail Nerdrotic. Damn, that last episode was, God, yeah, it was. Russell Frakes, Doxamite, Philamax, The Price is Right review, Jason Green, Sci-Tech Media, Daxamite, The Price is Right review, Solak Gree. Oh my God. Solak Gree. Sorry if I screwed that up. Mark C. Mark, love you, man. Love you. You're brilliant. You've been on fire lately, Mark C. Silhouetted Animator, 300-pound gorilla in the room. Silhouetted Animator, Marissa Nelson Wilkinson. The 300-pound gorilla in the room. Bioshack. I like that, by the way. The Price is Right review. Ronald Bowers, Jason Green, The Price is Right review. Gamer Gambit, Daxamite. Sci-Tech Media, Gamer Gambit. Danosaurus, Jedi Knight, Average Jonah, The Price is Right review. Silhouetted Animator, Marissa Nielsen Wilkinson. Thank you again for joining the live streams and being on for a few weeks. I really appreciate it. George Orwell, Aidan McGurr, Eccleston's Angel, Sci-Tech Media, Silhouetted Animator, The Price is Right review. Mark C, Captain. Oh, am I okay? Did I not read this one? Okay. Mark C, Captain Yossarian. Too much Mary Sue on STD, and they keep turning it up in spite of the fan base. Yes, a sad time for Trek. Captain, I'm sorry I missed that. That must have not been there. My apologies. My humble apologies. I'm going to shout you out twice next live stream. Captain Yossarian, thank you for the Canadian $5. It is truly a sad and horrible time for Trek. I truly apologize. Oh, man, I missed it. Beer Money Games, $5. Gordon flying the krill ship was shot very much like the TIE fighter scenes. By the way, Grimes has albums. He sings on American Dad. Grimes is the shit. Grimes is does he do stand-up comedy too? I might have to like listen. I don't know. I gotta back this guy. I like him. Beer Money Games. I like Grimes. And one of the funniest tweets, what came across my tweet earlier, that somebody got just a little clip of him going, "You're going to wash your mouth out with Gordon." And then some lady popped in down there and it's like, "My husband's name is Gordon. I can't wait for him to use this one." I freaking died when I saw that. The Price is Right reviews. Anything after Star Trek Nemesis is not canon to me. I don't care. $2. Thank you so much. Politically honest. Thank you very much. Sci-Tech Media, $10. Nerdrotic. If, and I am saying if, you could produce your own sci-fi show, open budget, and come up with an idea on the spot, what would it be? P.S. I'm not a thief. I really want to know. If I could produce my own sci-fi show, I would probably want to do something original. Come up with the idea on the spot. It would be way too long to tell you. I would adapt the comic book dark fantasy superhero cross-genre horror series I've had in my head since I was 10, called Dark Legion. I would adapt that. And it's basically take universal monsters, put them into kind of like a half Conan, half Lord of the Rings world, but modernized, use a little Zelanzi. So it's a little Conan, a little Tolkien, a little Roger Zelanzi, a little Jack Kirby, and a little Universal Horror Monsters. And you have a thing called Dark Legion that I've been thinking of. It's a story I've had in my head since I was 10. I actually did produce a couple of the comics. My friend Doug helped me write it. He kind of looks like, so he looks like, the best way to describe him is the elf in Hellboy 2. That looks like my guy, Dark Legion. He's not called Dark Legion. That's just the name of the comic. And it's a dark fantasy, but it's built around the listening to I changed the story to mix in a lot of the Exozone Art Bell stuff. It is way too much to get into, but tell you what, I'll on Monday I'll break it down for you. I've broken down in the past on what the plot, the outline of it is, and like one of the heroes was origin was on the Philadelphia experiment. That's what I would do. Okay, SciTech Media. Okay, thank you for the $10 super chat. Gamer Gambit, $5. Orville has to return, even if not on Fox. Orville deserves the support, and the makers and the cast should be happy with its earned success. If the Orville doesn't get picked up by Fox, I could totally see it going to a streaming network. Gamer Gambit. I think it gets picked up. Brandon Papagario Foley, $10. Do you think that when Paramount, okay, I've already read, Christie's, I've read some of these and I missed some other ones. So I'm glad I went. This is why I go over it, folks, towards the end. G'day, mate. Great straight. Okay. Artemis over easy. Great straight. Okay. Gamer Gambit, $2. Keep on rocking, fellow Orville. Yes. SciTech Media. And how can this be? It's just because you're quasi-stratic, nerdrotic, satric. I don't even know what that. You are a quasi-satric. What is that? You're using big words. I am a high school dropout, my friend. I'll look it up. Quasi-satric. Rolocat, thank you for the £2. It's good to see you guys. Everybody, take care. I do own the copyright for Dark Legion. Yeah, that's why I was kind of pissed when I saw that. I'm so tired now. I can't even remember anybody's name. I'll remember it now. Somebody tried to use Dark Legion. I'm glad they stopped, though. It was in the ComicsGate thing. If you're going to do it, I'm going to put the money behind it. Crowdfunding rocks. SciTech Media. I don't think I would do that. That would kill this channel if I started a comic book. Always a great live stream and content. Well done, sir. Well, thank you so much. Let me get the super chats off here so I can say goodbye to everybody. All right. Every time I get over 2 hours, I don't know how Doomcock does 5-hour live streams because I start to lose it around 2 hours. But I'm old. I'm probably, I don't know. I bet you I'm older than Doomcock. I'm guessing I'm older than Doomcock. Yes, let's get the Elric saga. Okay, so my character looks a lot like Elric too. That was not on purpose because I was not really into Elric until after I created my character. But it would be very Elric. And when I read Elric, I'm like, shit. But I love it. It's so good. By the way, go watch Razor Fist's videos on Elric. They're quite good. Vox Day, thank you. Yes, Vox Day wanted to start a Dark Legion line, and I'm glad he shut down his comic thing because I would have probably sued him because that's mine. That belongs to me. Good night, everybody. And everybody, oh God, you're hitting me with a 1999 super chat at the end. Jonah Farce, what is it? Jonah Vark 33. Thank you for the 1999. I really appreciate it. On the way out the door, everybody have a really great night. Be good to each other. Be nice. Don't get discouraged. Picking up Star Trek Discovery season 3 is quite a victory, believe it or not, because they're willing to shoot themselves in the foot for this stuff. Star Trek is dead. I'm truly sorry, but there is The Expanse. There is Orville. Everything is okay. Watch the Doom Patrol. It's damn good. Watch Umbrella Academy. It's damn good. Go see Alita. It's damn good. I'm going to go see it again. And reminder, next week, no live recaps for the Orville. I'm sorry. I'm going to see Captain Frickin' Marvel, which ticks me off, but I'm going to do an Orville. What we're doing, since I'm not doing Friday Night Tights, I'm doing a nooner on that Friday morning, and we're going to talk about Star Trek Discovery and the Orville on that nooner, and it's going to be early. So pick it up then. I will be doing a live Captain Marvel review Thursday night late when I get out from the movie, and I'm going to spill. Whether it's good or not, I'll let you know. Everybody, have a great day. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you to the wrenches who work so hard. Jody, Mary Ashmead. Love you guys. And may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Good night.